All right, I've got another review for you, and this is for Marvel's What If. Now, I've been able to see the first 3 episodes of Marvel's What If, but I think, just like A.C. Bradley told me when I interviewed her, each one of these episodes is kind of like a mini Marvel movie unto themselves. And so what I'm going to do is every week I'm going to review each episode. I'm not going to wait for the totality of this season like I am with The Bad Batch. I'm going to talk about each specific episode. Let's talk about the debut episode, which focuses on Hayley Atwell's Peggy Carter, or as she comes to be known as in this episode, Captain Carter. And this is such a cool idea. It was liberally sprinkled throughout the promotional work for What If. You could see Captain Carter and Steve Rogers and their connection in this animated form, in little glimpses in all kinds of trailers that Marvel has released for What If. And I was really looking forward to this. I was a bit surprised that this was the first episode because it just felt like a perfect emblematic kind of take on what If can be about. And that's what I was left with when I watched this episode. Now, I've seen it 3 times, and that should give you an idea of how much I love it. I absolutely love it. Part of it is that I love Marvel's Captain America, the First Avenger. I thought that was an awesome debut for Captain America on screen in the MCU. I think that Chris Evans was perfect in the role. They just did a really nice job at emulating the look and feel of the 1940s and World War II. It had that sepia kind of glow that I just loved. And Joe Johnston, the director of that film, who also did The Rocketeer and worked on the Indiana Jones movies, has a special touch with that stuff. And so I love First Avenger. And so what Captain Carter's debut episode in What If is all about is kind of reimagining the scenario. What if Peggy Carter was the one that had to step into the machine and get injected by the super serum and become America's super soldier, and also face up to the rampant sexism that was, a part of culture back during World War II. So it's a really concerted effort to kind of square up against the bigotry and this sort of underestimation that would have been prevalent for women of all stripes back in those days, but especially in a woman with as much fire and ability as Peggy Carter has. And so she becomes a tremendous superhero in this episode, this mini movie, and it's just really fun to see her, punch Nazis in the face and go up against the Red Skull and confront all kinds of bad guys in different types of forms. And of course, the idea of the supernatural force that the Tesseract kind of unveils to the characters in this episode. But it's also really interesting to see that relationship with Steve Rogers endure and that they still have a love for each other. And the way that it's done in this episode, it's very smart. I mean, they bounce from key sequence to key sequence from a different shifted perspective of scenes that we're familiar with from the Captain America lore. And it's all pivoted to kind of looking over the shoulder of Peggy Carter and to see how she would handle these specific situations. There are also some pretty cool cameos in here as well. We have Sebastian Stan coming back as Bucky Barnes. We have Toby Jones reprising his role as Arnim Zola. We have Dominic Cooper back as Howard Stark, and Stanley Tucci is back as Dr. Abraham Erskine. It's really cool. So it echoes, thematically and the sort of visual imprint that's a part of the film, but then also audibly you can kind of really connect the dots there. Different actor, it's actually Josh Keaton playing Steve Rogers, but he does a great job. Very good, very close sound alike. I love this episode. I thought it was a great introduction to what the What If idea is going to be about, and it was just expertly handled. I love the animation. I love the music in it. I was really blown away, and that's why I've seen it 3 times, and now I've talked about it. I want to go watch it again. So I'm giving What If's debut episode, Captain Carter, a 9.5 out of 10. You don't want to miss this one.